today, as she celebrates 30 years of groundbreaking work in Indian cinema, she shines brighter than ever. Before we meet the stalwart herself, here's a look at her incredible body of work. Let's have a look.
ये रोल नहीं करना है।
मेरे हाथ छोड़ के चले। To talk about her craft. The one. Okay. Since we talk to each other all the time, this feels a bit formal. So I'm going to take a minute to ease into making this seem as organic and natural as possible. Firstly, welcome Rani. Congratulations on the 13 glorious years of sheer achievement. That really has been a journey. I know that I've been a part of this journey. I've seen this journey unfold right in front of my eyes. A young girl and now a mother, a daughter, and
स्पीकर ही बंद है।
Yes, Karan. Of course, everybody here present today, they are also equally part of my journey. As journalists, they have been supporting me, they have critiqued my work, they have helped me grow in my craft. My peers, my directors, of course you, Sanjay, all my directors, and the producers who have given me this beautiful opportunity of giving me these wonderful roles that I was able to portray in the cinema, and especially, being the voice of Indian strong women on cinema. I think that is something that I've always chosen to do consciously or subconsciously. It always came into my lap and I grabbed it. Even your film, Kabhi Alvidana Kehna, it was different, it was challenging, but I think it spoke about what a woman wants and what she chooses. And I think various roles of my career, whether it was Naina Mathur from Hichki, whether it's Shivani Shivaji Roy, they depict strong Indian women, and that's something that I always wanted to portray through my films and in my career.
let's take you back, Rani, to your childhood. You come from, of course, a film family. But I know you have a really special bond with your family, with your mom and dad. And your childhood is full of stories I've heard. It's full of love, joyousness, craziness, Durga Pujas, the whole enchilada. What was it like being, let me take you back to being the young Rani Mukerji. What did that feel like at that point of time?
I think that time it was more about, being in a very humble Bengali family. Like my dad and mom tried to make ends meet. I used to see them struggle through their days. There were times when my mom was not able to buy me a particular thing that she really wanted to buy for me because of certain challenges that came with not being economically very, very sound. But I saw my mom go through those days with so much of happiness, with that bright smile and that laughter of hers. And it never came in the way of our happiness. And that's something that I've imbibed from her. That whatever the circumstances are, whatever the situations are, one has to smile through and go forward. But what has been always very important for me is the support and the love that I've got from my family. That's my mom, my dad, my brother.
I'm a fan of your craft, but I'm an absolute fan of your mom. She is, for everyone here, I have to say, she's one of the most entertaining people I have met on planet Earth. And please, if I forget, I have an anecdote about Krishna Aunty and Kuch Kuch Hota Hai that will always remain in the inner recesses of my mind. Apart from being a compassionate, empathetic mother, wife, and has been a daughter and sister, but she is hilarious.
Yes, she is.
And you recently celebrated her 75th birthday.
Yes, I did.
And you told me she was refusing to divulge her age to you. She refused to tell you how old she was.
Yes, yes.
And you had to go back, ask her sisters, ask her family, and calculate that she's actually turning 75.
Yeah.
And apparently she refuses to acknowledge your age as well.
Yes.
So we have a special image of that special celebration of you and your mom on her 75th, and I'd love to share that with everyone, all our friends of the media. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah. That was just recently. I had the pleasure and privilege of attending this celebration, Rani's mom Krishna Aunty's 75th, and she was as radiant, as happy, and as crazy as she always is. But when I talk about mom and dad, I have such visuals and such amazing memories of Ram Uncle and Krishna Aunty, and I want everyone to just see a quick journey of theirs through the years. Let's have a look.
Wanting to get me married at a very young age.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but I think destiny had other plans for me. With the offer that came for Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, I think my mum just told me that, Salim uncle, who is a family friend, who's offered you the film, why don't you take it up and see how it goes? And I think behind that ask or that want of my mum's, I never realized that probably my mum was finding a way to make probably the financial situation in my house better. Right. Because they knew that if I do well in this field, maybe things would be better. But better. Probably at that point of time, I didn't see it from that angle. But I think what made sense to me was that my mom said, why don't you take it up? Because at that point of time, as teenagers, we were wanting to take up a particular profession. We want to probably take, say, interior designing or law, and we're just confused as teenagers. At that point, I just thought it was very nice of my mom to say that, try this out. If it doesn't work out, you can go back to your studies and you can always go back to doing what you wanted to do.
Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, I remember, and I have something interesting to say about Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, which is very defining for you. That debut film, that performance, that power-packed performance welcomed you into mainstream cinema. While the movie wasn't a thunderous success or wasn't a success, but what did happen is that you made a solid mark. And what followed after that was a result of that strong performance. Before we talk about Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, let's have a look. Close-up that you saw of Rani coming out and saying Raja Ki Aayegi, and she does one gesture like this. I got a call, 8 leading ladies had said no to me for Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. I had become like the most rejected first-time filmmaker because nobody wanted to do that part of Tina. I was trying very hard to convince them that it's pivotal to the film, it's important, it's a really crucial part. Nobody. All those 8 girls, and I remember each one of their names, and I thanked them that they said no. To me, I got a call one evening from none other than Aditya Chopra, who called me. He said, have you seen this new girl in this trailer of this film called Raja Ki Aayegi Barat? It's this song. She comes out and she does a gesture. This girl is a big star. So I was like, okay, I went and had a look and I said, she's a very pretty girl, and I went and met her, and of course the rest is history. Yes. The irony here is that it was actually Adi who called me and recommended me to you. Yes. And do you remember that meeting?
I remember the meeting with you, of course.
Yeah.
But I think Raja Ki Aayegi Barat has to be one of those moments in my life where truly, Karan, when I look back, I really don't know what I was doing. I was just following my mother's instruction. Yeah. I said, my mom wants me to do it, I have to do it. And because I'm doing it, I have to do it to the best of my ability. And whatever was best that I could do, I did for the film. Yeah. But what I didn't know was the kindness that was shown to me by, say, Adi, you, Shah Rukh, Amir. You all at the same time probably saw this and you all thought that I was okay enough to be part of your films.
Amir brings me to Ghulam.
Yes.
So what happened with Raja Ki Aayegi Barat? I, of course, saw this close-up and I was thinking about, because I was still in the midst of being rejected. Yeah. So I was still like thinking that this could be my backup option. I'll see. Yeah. I'll get a few more rejections, but this is not about me. I remember Ghulam. And you got signed, and the one thing in your favor for me was that you had this big Amir Khan film. Right. And no one realized then that that one song from that Amir Khan film and your presence in that film, and of course the film itself, is going to break ground and create and be the beginning of your stardom. That song, Aati Kya Khandala, I've heard you even sang it on a plane only because nobody knew that you were the leading lady. Is that true?
No, I think we were going for the movie premiere or something.
Those days there were no promotions.
There were no promotions. I think there were only premieres, and I think somebody asked me in the plane to sing a song.
And you sang Aati Kya Khandala in a plane?
Yeah.
The plane was not going to Khandala, but it was
Obviously not.
Yeah, so.
I think it was going to Delhi, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Bhavna auntie from the media. I don't know if she's there today.
Bhavna auntie asked you to
Bhavna
sing a
Subha,
song?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bhavna auntie.
Well, I don't
I
put
was
it past
actually
her.
sleeping on a lap with full oil in my hair, and I remember...
Later we'll discuss why you were sleeping on Bhavna auntie's lap. Not because this is a live YouTube show. We'll have that chat later. Bharti auntie's here, though I can see her. Sorry, same generation of media, so I can say that to you, Bharti. You're a dear friend. Aati Kya Khandala happened. But the one thing we have to address, and it's the elephant in the room.
Yes.
They changed your voice.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts and feelings at that time?
I think as a newcomer, you don't have much of a choice, because it was a really big thing for me to be able to do a film with Aamir and opposite Aamir, because he was one of the superstars then. So when Aamir actually, which I learnt later from Vikram, who's my director, that actually it was a decision taken by probably Vikram, Mukerji and Aamir, but they made Aamir become the bad cop, so to speak. And Aamir kind of explained to me that, for films we have to sacrifice certain things for the best of the film, for the best of the movie. And probably your voice is not apt for the character or the role. And then he asked me who my favorite actress was, and I, without blinking, I said Sridevi. And he gave me an example how Sridevi's voice was dubbed in a lot of her films, but it didn't stop her from being the star that she became. So he said, Rani, you must surrender to whatever is best for the film, and, we think that your voice should be dubbed. And it was a little...
upsetting?
Upsetting for me, but obviously I couldn't show the fact that I was upset, because you need to be a team player whenever you're part of a film.
Absolutely.
And I think as actors, as technicians, we need to be part of a team. If somebody asks us for something, we have to be able to do it. And even if there are personal, say, disappointments, it doesn't matter as long as the intent is true for the film.
Correct.
And they went ahead and they dubbed my voice. But what was beautiful, Karan, which I have to tell everybody here, is that I really owe this to Karan. We were shooting for the trailer of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. I'm getting teary-eyed.
Oh.
And
I'll come kiss you. I remember that day. We were shooting just so that you can compose yourself, I just said it. There was a teaser at that time. Again, it was Aditya Chopra's idea. I think he's such a part of my entire journey, Rani's journey, consciously and subconsciously. He gave me the idea of that teaser where Rani's sitting with baby Anjali and where she says, Aaj main tumhe, if anyone remembers, there was a teaser. In those days, there was no such thing as teasers, but we shot this teaser against blue screen.
And I was on a swing.
Or rather, it was just a blue screen because we didn't know what VFX was then.
Yeah, and you made me wear a white churidar.
White salwar
as in I was the ghost over there as well.
And where she says, "Aaj main tumhe कहानी सुनाने वाली हूँ. इस कहानी में एक लड़का है, लड़की है. दोनों लड़ते थे, झगड़ते थे, फिर भी एक दूसरे के best friends से. And then there was a line, फिर क्या हुआ? And she says, फिर कुछ कुछ हुआ. And that was the thing.
And then you introduced Rahul and Anjali.
Yeah.
So I remember that shooting. You came up to me and you said, Rani, are the people the people dubbing your voice in Gulam? And I said, yeah. So he said, do you have a problem with dubbing, with your quintessential way of talking? And I said, no, I don't have a problem with dubbing. You said, did you dub your first film? I said, of course I dubbed my first film. So he said, I love your voice. The way you said it that time. And I still remember that clearly. He said, I love your voice and you will dub for my film. And thanks to you, Karan, that I was able to retain my voice.
No, you have such a beautiful voice, and everyone knows that Rani Mukerji's distinct voice is one of the big parts of your amazing performances. And I never understood, because my dad, I still remember we were sitting and we got a call that distributors bol rahe hain. Firstly, whatever that meant to me at that time, because distributors bol rahe कि voice badalna chahiye, because audience accept नहीं करे, ऐसे वो तो नई नई आई है, audience जानती नहीं है कि वो कौन है अभी. They're still settling into knowing her. What? And my father also said, क्या पागल अपन है, we are not changing. किसी की आवाज क्यों बदले हम? Like, you know, and my father then gave me an anecdote. मुझे बोला गया था अमित जी की आवाज बदलो अग्निपथ में और देखो क्या हो गया. मैं नहीं बदलूंगा किसी की आवाज. So my father,
No, but you know,
he had
Karan,
gone on another tangent.
You know, we are joking about it today, but your decision as a young filmmaker, it was your first film, and you could have easily be swayed with the pressure that came on you. But you stood your ground, and that's why he's Karan Johar.
No, I mean.
And he stood his ground,
No,
and he
anyway.
and he believed in my voice. He believed in me, and I got to retain my voice in all my films.
And that began
Because if you hadn't Karan,
Yeah.
a lot of my films, my voice would not be part of my.
I think you were destined for the greatness that you have achieved, irrespective of a voice or no voice. It's those eyes, Rani, that no one can go beyond. And the fact that even today, and I'm taking a minor digression to say that fact that even today you keep evolving your craft speaks volumes of your understanding. And the one thing that I've noticed, the one actor I saw do that was Sri Devi ji. When I remember seeing her after she came back after 15-year sabbatical, when she came
English Winglish.
With Ishq Vishk.
English
Ishq Vishk, I'm
Winglish.
saying English Winglish, Ishq
Yeah.
Vishk, I'm calling it. Clearly losing my brains these days. In English Winglish, and I remember seeing that she had understood the syntax of our times. And I see that you do very few films, which we must talk about, that you have to do many more. But every time I watch you, I feel like you've evolved, you've updated your energy and your craft on screen, and that speaks volumes about your understanding of just cinema and not just performance. Going back, there were some very, and I think it's lesser discussed, but there were some kind of brave roles that you did take on that were progressive in nature. Your character in Hum Tum, your character as Maya in Kabhi Alvida, these were actually progressive characters, and it takes a lot of inward
Suhani
looking
from
at,
Sathya.
and Suhani from Sathya. I think they were all very progressive women. You know, you were portraying very progressive women on screen. Today, the woke world talks about it. At that time, it was never discussed with the due, it was not given that kind of due. Of course, the performances were, but not the progressiveness of those parts. What were your thoughts when you were performing these parts?
I think I was inspired by those characters, Karan. I think when a script comes to me or when a character is presented to me for me to play, I always look for something that touches my heart or something that inspires me. Because as people, when we are playing different characters, I also have to become those characters. I have to keep Rani aside and I have to be those characters, and I have to do it in a way that the audience believes that I'm those characters. And for me, if I have to become somebody else, I have to be inspired by her, I have to love her. Only then I can play the part with utmost sincerity and integrity. And that's what I saw in these characters. And I saw that with time changing, with India changing, with the voice, every decade comes with a new voice from the current generation. And I think these parts actually spoke about the modern Indian woman and what she wants to say and what she wants to do and the change that she wants to bring about. Her own desires and the agency and all of that.
Yes,
you know, it's not about following a particular protocol, or I would say the whole patriarchal system of what we are taught to do or meant to do. But somewhere these women stood against that. You know, and in their own way, not shouting from the rooftops, but in their own choices, quietly making certain decisions in those characters, in the films, and how the film evolves, how the story moves forward, and what happens in the story, which in turn inspires other women who are watching it, or other girls who are watching it.
I remember while filming Kabhi Alvida, I didn't realize when I wrote the film and that it was going to get so deeply immersive as an experience for the actors. Because I realized that all the characters, Dev and Maya and Rishi and Riya, they got so immersed into those characters that at one point I had to tell Preeti that listen, this is not really happening. We're shooting a movie. Like she was like, but why is he cheating on me? So I'm like, he's not cheating on you. It's the character. Like, you know, she was getting like very personal. Like when I had to one day take her aside, we went for a walk. I remember at one point Abhishek broke down really on set. You know, you remember there was a scene you and him were shooting, and I remember he broke down, and I think there were moments I could see you just looking sullen and sad, and I realized that everyone was going through like you were going through beats in your head, because the film talks about ground realities, emotional realities, things that people go through. Don't like to address, we don't like to acknowledge, we brush them under the carpet, but they are all realities of modern life. And I realized it was a very tumultuous experience.
Yes.
And I think
also for the audience as well.
Yes, it was. I'll never forget when I realized that the film is going to get polarized responses, is that I went to see the first preview of the film with a paid audience, and there was a traditional looking couple watching it. And there's a scene where Dev and Maya are checking into a hotel, and immediately the traditional woman looked at the traditional man and said, like that, like, what's happening? And he said, kuch nahi, dream sequence hai. And when they realized that dream sequence nahi hai, they both got up and walked out. And I remember I was like, oh no, like, you know, like this is also, like, there is judgment, you know, but yet the end of that film gives you hope. And it speaks about love going beyond. That love should be the only reason you walk into a relationship.
Absolutely.
So more power to you, Rani, for
Thank you,
portraying
Karan.
those parts. And
thank you, Karan, for writing those parts.
no, I mean, like,
you know,
like
of course,
it's way back in
like
the
I
past.
always say that we actors, we get opportunity to, you know, do such parts only because the writers and the directors, they write such parts for us. The directors have the faith, the producers have the faith to produce such films. Only then can actors come into the role and can give those characters wings, you know, and give them flesh on screen.
And those wings give you moments on cinema, like I'll never forget that train sequence from Satya. Like there is just something organically pure. It's also, I think, it's that zone of performance that you came from that very filmy heroine performance to real natural acting, which you could do. You can do anything. According to me, Rani Mukerji can do anything. But when I see you in Yuva, I see you in Satya, I see you in Hey Ram, I see a syntax that is so unusual for that time, for the mainstream movie star heroine of that time. I want everyone to see that moment in Satya.
लेकिन मैं तुमसे शादी क्यों करूंगी?